Hello, everybody. This is Sandra Sandini, Inner Peace Mentor and Visionary of the Guide Academy. Very excited to be here today with my special guest. I just wanted to do the little bit of housekeeping up front. This is being sponsored by a Spiritual How To, which is available on most Amazons as well as other places. This is a self-published book, so they actually make it on demand. And I am in the process of creating another course around this. So I have the Spiritual How To. It's a group program. I also do one-on-one vision quests around this, and I have just introduced this to a select group, and I'd love for you to be a part of that select group. If you're interested, let me know. What I mean is I've introduced it as a digital course, so I'm really, really excited about that. And it's the learning curves. So it's always a wonderful place to get in on it at the beginning is when it's a beta program. So I really do invite you to seriously consider joining the Spiritual How To digital online course. I have a special guest here today. I want to say hi to Jackie too. I have a special guest here, Robin Young Beyer. She is from the Alaska Light Brigade. So let me just throw her banner up there, take mine down and throw hers up because she's such a magical lady. She is, I'm not sure if she can hear me, so maybe I'll bring her online. Because you can probably see my lips moving, but she can't hear me. Anyway, this is the beautiful Robin. We met through another group, and we've just been hitting it off left, right, and center. And it's so comical because we'll be doing something, and then it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so like that, or oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And it's been a constant tale that is very similar to each other. And I think it really started with, first of all, our hair colors look very similar. And then it started with our personalities. We both are always smiling. Our birthdays. Yeah, I was going to say the birthdays is a big one as well. I'm a Leo baby, and so is Robin. And every time we get together, we find one more commonality. And as I mentioned to Jennifer, who's watching us right now, either Jennifer or Kim, I mentioned to one of them that it's like we're twins out there, and to be able to come together now and be here with you guys. So let's have a conversation. What's coming up in your world these days? What are you expanding in? Let's go that route.
Well, I took 2 wonderful channeling classes with Kristen, and that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. Not only was I able to expand my abilities and my knowledge, I was able to make some really wonderful friends for life. Good. I called my soul sisters. And I really recommend anybody who's in this type of work to continue their education, because that's just one of those things that you can keep growing and growing and growing. And I didn't know that my abilities were done growing. I thought maybe I was getting close to being done, but then the more classes I take, I realized that there's more abilities out there that I didn't even know that I had. And then this whole galactic thing is, I've been a sky watcher since I was really, really young. So the astrology class was something that I was so excited about. I've been there since day one. It's 6 months now that we've been going on, and I'm continuing this time on the 7th month because something about it just clicked inside of me, like I had known it my whole life. And I had no idea that the planetary alignment affected our emotions so much. But it really, really does. And so learning about that and the time that everything happens with you is just so much wonderful knowledge. It just lines up everything perfectly. You have many of those aha moments when you start seeing that as astrological signs in your life when you're not even looking for them.
I can definitely relate, and I'm not sure if we're both speaking about the same person, but I know that Kitty with the intuition of the soul is a big astrological force, power, beautiful, and her and I have very many intimate conversations around that, and in fact are doing a book together right now, having conversations around a book. And actually, just so you guys know, over there on hers, the Spiritual How To is the next book club over in the Intuition of the Soul, and Robin and I are both members of that. I think that's where we really started to get to know each other. And I wanted to point out too that you said something really important as soon as you started speaking, and it was that continuing education. And that continuing education is that getting coaching or going and doing courses. It is very, very important. Or reading books. It could be something as simple as reading a book, right? Recently, Kitty and I have this beautiful working relationship as well as a personal relationship, and she's a very important part of my medicine wheel. And she comes on and she does this conversation with my group in there. And when we have these conversations, I was so funny because the last one I didn't have the ability to actually stay on. Yes, it was my class, but I have a teacher in training, so she took over and ran the class for me. And Kitty came on and did her thing. And when I went back and listened to the recording, I was in awe of, first of all, some of the questions that were being asked of Kitty, but also to really starting to understand the layers that are involved. And you're so accurate. There's never any end to our learning and our growth. And the things that are coming up with that astrological aspect of things, I'm truly blown away right now. I can't even put words to it. I honestly can't put words to it, because when I talk about the medicine wheel, I'm talking about the elements and the directions, and then the other aspects of it with regards to some of the animals, etc., dragons, colors of the dragons, civilizations that are coming through. And then hearing Kitty speak about the age of the human being with regards to the houses of the astrological aspect, like the little you, the teenager, the adult, and the seniorhood. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this takes my little you work with the spiritual how-to to a whole different level. And then bringing this in together with the layers of the elements and that, like, I could just go.
Mind blowing.
It is. It's
truly
truly mind blowing.
Too.
Oh,
read
thank
the book
you.
3 times.
I'm in the process possibly of doing some editing in it, because I want to bring some of the pieces in so that they're a little bit more clearer and that. But I love this first edition. I kept one for myself because I find it was an interesting book written in a very traumatic period of my life, and written in a very short amount of time too. So when they say you can do something in 90 days, you can.
I'm glad you mentioned Kitty, because she is the teacher of the astrology class, her and
Yes.
Stephanie. And her and I are also good friends too. And it was so neat meeting her in Florida. We had been friends for a little over a year. And so when I went there and met her in person, it was just like so amazing. She really is everything that she seems in person too.
I'm going to just see if I can find this on my page. So maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself. Like when I say tell us a little bit about yourself, when did you first realize that either that there was something different going on in the world, or that you had maybe some gifts towards something? What was that spiritual pathway like?
Well, I always knew I had something going on because I would always talk to my grandmother who passed in heaven. So I always had this open connection with heaven. And my mother used to say, shh, go talk to your grandmother upstairs, because I'd start talking in the middle of the living room. I also had a thing where my mother and I were driving down the street, and I said, Mom, I know this is going to sound weird, but we need to be careful because a horse is going to jump out of the woods and go in front of our car here in a little bit. Well, a minute later, the biggest Great Dane I've ever seen in my life came out of the woods and jumped over our little Ford Pinto and went onto the road. And my mother pulled over and she looked at me, and then she looked at me again with these really strange eyes. And I said, well, it wasn't a horse, but it was a dog. She said, okay, well, maybe you need some counseling. So she actually sent me to a counselor because she thought I had stuff going on that maybe wasn't so good. I think it's because her mother had this also. I'm a 4th generation psychic. Okay. So my mother, my mother's mother, and my mother's mother's mother were all like this as well. So I found that in me doing this, I've healed generational problems that they had because they weren't able to come out and say that they were like this and practice it or anything at all. So I've been thanked by my ancestors several times for going about this and doing it, even though I was having a lot of naysay at the beginning. So I was born like this, I want to say, but I didn't really know I had anything going on until about 9 or 10, I think. Wow. So realizing things were different for me than other people.
I always find it so fascinating because I really feel like I was a late bloomer. Having said that, back in my childhood, I now as an adult, I recognize that I was having this, and I thought it was my mom letting me watch a TV show, but in reality, it was me actually witnessing an event in the grand scheme of life, I guess. And I always thought it was a TV show that my mom let me watch, and I shut myself down in that moment. And it was actually like I say, decades before I realized that that's what it was, that there was no way on earth my mom would let me watch a TV show that was that horrible. Just at that age, the parents don't do that, right? They really don't, unless they're parents who aren't in the picture kind of thing. But my mom was very much a present figure. And it fascinates me when I hear about this generational stuff. Not that like, I'm so aware there's generational stuff. I mean, I've worked with many of my ancestors because of this. And what I don't know, though, is if I am generational. I really feel like I'm the first one that's come out of the closet about this being spiritual. And it's been really bizarre watching some of my family members accept me for who I am. And I think that some don't even really recognize who I am. They just recognize me as a different person, whatever, mother, daughter, whatever the case is. So I don't know if my mother or my grandmother or my dad's family had this end to it at all. And it's really fascinating to me. Yeah.
Neat.
Yeah. So, what was a catalytic moment for you? Let's go with that. What was a catalytic moment for you?
Let's see. I saw UFOs, 5 of them, out my window upstairs here several years ago with my daughter. And it was so interesting. I've seen UFOs before, but this time they saw us see them.
Okay, wow.
And when they saw us see them, they flew one by one. They're little silver Jetson-like one-man crafts that looked just like Jetson space saucers. And as soon as I pointed and went, oh my gosh, look, one by one, they zoomed behind a giant cloud. And for the next couple of days, I kept forgetting to tell people about it. And that's not like me at all, because I'm a big gabber. And so my daughter said the same thing too. She wasn't telling anybody about it, and she had just kind of forgotten. So we went and had lunch together and then discussed it ourselves. And this is the daughter that was born a seer also. So yeah, and it really was crazy, because we thought nobody even knew, because we hadn't told anybody. So we started opening up, and she's even going to get a tattoo about it because it was so meaningful to her. But yeah, that was like one of those aha moments that nobody else gets to see this, it seems like. And then after that, I did a lot of studying. I've always been a studier and a reader. I've been reading James Van Praagh books and all those other kind of books from psychics, Sylvia Brown and stuff. I read hers, and so I got into Facebook in 2009, and I think it was about 2018 or 19 that I found Michelle Legali's group, Empaths and Sensitives.
Okay.
So I entered that, and I was there about a year before I entered her Intuition Circle group. And then that was a wonderful group of learning and practice and everything. And I think that's where I really realized that there was names for everything that I had been doing and things that I thought and things that I knew. And I came in thinking, well, I feel everything. I mean, I feel everything, the air, the earth, the plants, the animals, everything. And I thought, well, I'm just this big feeler. I didn't know that there was names for them, clairsentience, and that there was other ones too, the knowing and all that. And so after doing the studying and everything for a year or so, I now realize that I do possess all of those clairs now, not just the feelings. So it's been a really wonderful journey.
So I imagine you're probably similar to me, where you apologize to a chair for bumping into it.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then I look and I go, oh my God, that was just a chair.
Well, and it's interesting because I know I work on the premise that everything is energy, and if everything's energy, then everything has life, right? So, I'm always, if I dent something, I'm always like, I just feel so bad for denting something. And it's because of the energy of everything, and it's really hard to put a description to that when it's something that you've done your whole life. You know what I mean? It's not like I suddenly decided that, I'm going to think that my hitting a table is I need to apologize to the table. It's just something that I've always done. So it goes to show just how connected we're in, even when we don't even realize we're connected in, which is kind of cool. Yeah. So a catalytic moment that I had, let me think about my catalytic moment. Well, I know the big one. There was two. One was the one I was talking about back when I was a child. But then that other one was when I was I had dislocated my pelvis on both sides, both back in, I think 2000, I think it was 2000 or 2001. I think it's 2000. And when I went into a room, and I write about this actually in the book, when I went into a room and I was asked to approach a table, like a massage table that a client was laying on, and we were going to do energy work with this person. And when I approached it, I actually stopped and I backed up, and then I went around to the other side. And when I went around to the other side, the teacher who was teaching us said, "Oh, wow, you're definitely in tune with the energy, because most people don't even get that sense that they, of where people's energy is." And that was a real eye opener for me, because I didn't even realize that I was doing that. It was just something that just, again, came natural to me. So it's fascinating, again, to me, when we think we aren't involved in all this stuff, and yet we are. Again, we are doing things. Yeah. So what is one of your favorite things to do with regards to the work that you do? What is your favorite thing to do?
I love those times when I don't set intention and I don't have any idea that I'm going to be doing any kind of a reading, and I'm chatting with somebody and one of their relatives shows up. That's always the funnest thing for me, because I'll feel a big whoosh with kind of energy right here on my left side, which is spirit side for me. And then I'll start getting information. And that happened to me twice in the last couple of weeks. I've just been chatting with somebody, and then somebody will just come to me and start talking.
I love that.
I had a wonderful reading from Cynthia last night. So I was asking her about a friend that passed that I hadn't contacted or anything yet. And she was able to bring him through and give me all the information I needed and then some. So it was a really good feeling. She's really wonderful.
I love that. So she's speaking about Cynthia, who is a member of our community over in Soulful Empowerment. If anybody's interested, she's also is part of Intuition of the Soul and does readings in there on the Tuesday nights. There's a group happening tonight, in fact.
Will you be there?
I believe I will be. I missed it last week, but I believe I'll be there tonight.
We missed you last week.
Thank you. I miss being there. We're so Canadian, eh?
We're both
Even though you're Alaskan. So I just wanted to kind of touch base with that again too, because I can totally relate to that being in a conversation or something. For me, it happens in a really interesting way. I was at a conference once and my hands started on fire. And I know that when my hands are being ignited, that there's something going on with somebody somewhere, whether that's here, whether that's in another place. I usually have no idea. But it usually becomes pretty apparent pretty quickly. So I was at a buffet table. I was getting food. I was doing this. I was doing that. Person wasn't showing up. And I'm open with no expectations, no limitations, and I'm okay with the outcome. So if the person never showed up, the person never showed up. But I don't go hounding people looking for the person either. I just let the person naturally show up.
You
just
have
like
to allow and let it flow and not try to push it.
Yeah. So comically enough, I went into the washroom and there's two women in there and they're blah, 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 back and forth. And I stopped and I'm like, "Oh, it's you." And she's like, "What?" And I go, "Oh, well, first of all, you open." And as it turns out, we had this incredible conversation, and it was like way out in left field. Like here's this woman who I don't know her at all. I've never met her, never seen her. I begin to understand she's part of the conference I'm at, which has nothing to do with holistic stuff, by the way. And long story short, it ended up being about her dad and her dog and this whole energy of what she was holding on to. It was like so incredible. And I also want to say something else too, Robin, because you pointed it out. You made the indication that the energy for you comes in on your left side when a spirit is visiting. For me, it's very much on the right side. Actually, my whole face on the right side gets like red hot. It may not show red hot, but it feels like it's burning. It's really interesting. And it's spirit coming in who has a message for somebody specifically. Yeah.
Because I get people that are alive that come in on the right. So I get both people that pass and people that are still here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I guess I never did say that my name is Robin Beyer and I'm 57 and I live in Alaska. And I also have 3 daughters and all of them have abilities too.
I love it.
And they're all awakening right this minute.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So I'm
Sandra. My 16-year-old granddaughter.
Oh, wow. Oh, I have a granddaughter story, but let me tell you, first of all, I'm Sandra. I'm 58, so we're very close in age. We share very similar birthdays, both being Leos, and I live in Canada. And you can tell that because I keep going A. I have two children. I believe both of them are gifted. I would love if they stepped into their abilities the way that I do, but I love that they do and are recognizing that they have abilities, whatever that is, right? Talking about my granddaughter, when she was very young, she's just going to be 6 this year. Yes, 6 this year. Her mom was one of my very first people that I ever did a soul reading for. And a soul reading, when I do a soul reading, I use a deck of oracle or tarot cards as a portal. And I was at that time, like I say, it was one of my very first. And so I wasn't as versed in how to help the client or the receiver as I am now. And we did it, and then I went away for however many weeks because we live in different towns. And when I came back in, she's like, well, can you give me some information here? Because when I look up these things, I'm just finding all these negative things around it. And of course, I do everything for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. So we sat down together on the couch, her beside me here, and I actually held my granddaughter in my lap. And my granddaughter was probably, I'm guessing she wasn't a year old. So, very fidgety, very, very much like, I want to move, I want to do stuff, I want to go places kind of thing. And honestly, for 45 minutes, my granddaughter sat in complete silence, very comfortable, just sitting on my lap. And as we went through the cards again, and I would go, okay, let's breathe our way through this. And I would take a breath, and my granddaughter would take this big breath. So she was so in the motion of doing all these things that we take years to learn how to do. She was doing them already. And we know that the youth do it already. It's in the shutting down that they don't after. So it was just so fascinating to actually experience someone who was that young, like taking those breaths, being quiet. And as soon as we were done, she was gone, right? Like, it was just like so cool to watch. In fact, all of us who were there was 3 adults and my granddaughter, we were just like, wow, was that ever cool?
It is so cool to watch the little ones do it. And even my granddaughter, who's 16, just the fact that she knows it and is owning it and using it in her own life at this age is just like mind blowing to me, because I sure wish I would have known then what I knew now, what I know now.
Well, and you know what? It's not even that the need to know what you know now, excuse me, but more the freedom to be able to express who you are in somewhere that accepts you for who you are. You accept your daughters, you accept your granddaughter. That's like my granddaughter. I accept her wholeheartedly for who she is. In fact, we had a conversation with my daughter-in-law a couple days ago. She was concerned about my granddaughter, about her temperature, fever was running, and she's like, I don't just I feel like I should do this, and I'm very much teaching my daughter-in-law to trust her intuition, right? Because she didn't have that role model in her own life. So being a powerful role model, there's a lot to be said for that. A lot to be said for that.
Totally agree. Yeah, I had an incident with my 6-year-old granddaughter a few weeks ago, and it's not the first time that I've had this type of thing happen. She was playing out in the snow, and I was in my bedroom folding laundry, and I'm a whistler. I've been whistling since I was young. I just whistle while I work. My grandmother is the artist for Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So I constantly am whistling, and I was whistling Christmas tunes. Don't know why, that was just what was coming out while I was folding laundry. And about a half hour later, my granddaughter came in. I was helping her take off her snow clothes, and she looked right at me and she said, "Merry Christmas, Nana." And I said, "What?" And she just smiled, and a little sleek smile, and walked off and grabbed her little pad and started doing things on it. And I said, okay, because that's like the second time she's done something like that. So I just know for a fact that she's definitely got these abilities. And
Sure.
she's only 6. So her mother is also real strong. Her mother is my middle daughter, Amanda, and she was born on April 11th. So being born on the 11th, I think, kind of automatically makes you this way.
Yeah, exactly. That's just like my birthday too, 0808. I want to ask you about the Alaska Light Brigade. How did that come to be? Why did you start up that group?
That was so neat that you asked that, because I totally channeled that name one day. I was doing my meditation, and that name just kept popping in and popping in and popping in. So I stopped my meditation. I wrote that name down, and went back in my meditation, and then I just kept feeling stronger and stronger and stronger about the name. And then I talked to my daughters and said, well, would you like to join me in this group to help people through this journey of awakening? And they all said, oh, sure, that we love that. And they're awakening themselves too. So that's how I got the Alaska Light Brigade. It's not just myself, that's myself and my family that are all helpful to people who are going through this awakening process.
I love that. And your group has really grown quite quickly too. There's definitely a demand for it out there, that type of thing.
Yes, if you'd like to be a member of the Alaska Light Brigade, it is a private group, but you can ask to join and I will accept you.
Exactly. Right on. Right on. What else would you like to talk about? Should we see if anybody, I know we don't have a lot of people watching, but if anybody's watching and they want to have a quick reading, we'd be more than willing to do a reading for anybody. I know some ladies have already left because they had to do, but Cam's here, Kelly's here, Jennifer was here, Jackie was here. I think you, too comical. Jackie actually, she said hi, Sandra, right at 11:11, and we were talking about 11.
That's because she's special like that.
Exactly. So I'm just going to click on here. Oh, and Maria's here. Does any of you want a reading? Because we are definitely open to doing some reading. I'll pull. Oh, Sue's here too. Okay, Sue said. Oh, and Cynthia, the beautiful, famous Cynthia that we were just talking about, is here. So we'll start with Sue. We'll use cards. What do you want to do? Use cards or just pull in the energy? What would you like to do?
I have the most beautiful, good tarot deck here today.
What am I going to grab? I'm going to grab.
I love it. It's been so spot on this last month too. I pulled one for my daughter and I every couple of days, and yesterday's was mind blowing. She was planting seeds, and she got I think it's 3 of Earth or something like that, which is about planting seeds. I'm like, make this stuff up.
Exactly. So we're just going to take a moment to shuffle the decks. Know that the energy is being cleared of the decks, ourselves, and everybody who's watching. We're clearing the energy, all for the highest good, for the most benevolent reasons, and the greatest good of all. And just feel the joy coming in that the sun is bringing, that the seasons are shifting. If you're watching this on a replay and you're in a different hemisphere, that's absolutely fine too. We're bringing in this beautiful joy of life right now, Robin and I, and we're going to read for Sue, then Cynthia, and then Maria. So we'll start with Sue. Go ahead. If you're ready, go ahead there, Robin. And I'll let you know when I read my card what deck I'm using as well.
Ooh, beautiful, Sue. You got Fortune's Wheel, number 10. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me find that one. I think I've seen that one before. That was the first time I've ever seen that card. That's pretty amazing. I'm not sure where to find it. I've seen it before. Fortune Wheel, even. I like that name, Wheel. Sorry.
Well, if you can't find it in the book, just look at the card. What does the card tell you? I'm going to push Robin out of her boundaries here, out of her box.
That's fine. This card has a beautiful heart at the top of a large wheel, and there's a face right in here. So what that tells me is that Sue is in the middle of it. She's in the middle of everything that she's been wanting to do. She's like the center, the front and center, and she's surrounded by all her people. That's the circle. And the number 10 is the number 1. And that's that special number, the self.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, good fortune is coming your way, Sue, I feel.
Ooh. So to piggyback on that, I'm reading from Stephen Farmer's newest deck. It's the Messages from the Ancestors. And the card that came up for you is the Artisan. Let's see if I can get this so it's not, there we go. There we go. Yeah. And first of all, just that beautiful weaving of your life. And really, like I said, it piggybacks on what Robin was just saying there, Sue. There's something about the magic of the necklace that's being worn there on the blue as well. There's all that connection with the star energy and the personal truth, that real connection with the third eye energy is what's coming through as well. Craftsmanship, that being able to create. And I love that Robin was talking about being in the thick of things as well. So there's something very magical about what you're creating right now. And I know we've had a couple conversations around that as well. So just continue to step into the energy of that creating, one step at a time. Next
And
tiny
she's
step.
giving a class right now too, I think.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. So we'll go with Cynthia next. Go ahead, pull a card for her there.
Yeah. Hopefully it's one I can find.
Yeah.
Ooh, beautiful. The Three of Water.
Wow, gorgeous cards.
And I know where that one is. Air, fire, water. Earth, air, fire, water. Okay. The Three of Water. Celebration, enjoying community, sharing exuberance, team spirit, common goals, and friendship. How wonderful. Joy and excitement flow among all that gathered. I embrace being a part of something larger than myself. It is a time I delight in. I experience the greater whole that is my community team. I should be getting my glasses. We busy each other and play together as we co-create. We are friends, family, and companions, sharing our experiences.
It's beautiful. Robin, I'm going to push you out of the box again. What do you see in the card for Cynthia? Look at the card, and what do you see in the card for her? Thank you for your patience, too, as I push you.
Well, what I see is she's holding three beautiful bowls, and it looks like they each have a pearl or something neat inside of them. And I think these represent her family, because she's real family oriented and really good at taking care of her family and children and husband and stuff. So I feel that these three pots that she's holding represent her family, and she's the one that's carrying them. She's like the sword and the glue that holds everybody together.
Beautiful. That's such a beautiful and accurate reading for Cynthia as well. And Sue actually says that let her know what the wheel says in the book later, okay?
Thank you.
Cynthia, the card that I pulled for you is the shadow card. Really interesting, considering we've kind of been having this conversation about the old us and the new us. And here comes the shadow card shows up. What I see in that card is actually the tattoo on his shoulder. I'm not sure what it is exactly, but there's a really interesting tattoo on the shoulder there. It looks like some links together, like things linking things together, and then the leaves as well. So there's some energy happening there about those links that are pieced together. It's so interesting because I imagine when I think of links and links together, we all think of the Olympic rings, right? And there's something about those rings. There's something about the links that are happening around you, with you, etc. And those that the leaves are fully formed just down from that. Bear with me here while it comes up there. Yeah, just over to the side of the leaves are fully formed. So there's some basis to this, not boundaries. There's a base to the energy of these links, these connections. There's some energy to these connections that are coming through. Okay, and it's so interesting because then I'm seeing those bowls that Robin was just speaking about, and it almost looked like a horse, a seahorse kind of figure on that card, right? Robin, on your card,
Yes.
it was a seahorse figure. It was so gorgeous. So there's something about the flow of water happening. Yes, this card looks very black and skin tone, but there's something really magical about the colors when you incorporate, like if you wove in the colors of Robin's with this shadows one. There's something really magical about knowing what those pieces of our own darkness is, what the pieces of our own shadows are. That's what's coming through with this. Is know thyself. And it's so interesting because I was talking about this earlier, because it was like, know that one that you want to be and know the one that you were in the past. Yeah. And find that happy medium in between there. That was kind of cool. Yeah. So Maria is next. I'll let you pull a card first there again, Robin. And I'm going to push you. So
I don't know if you know this, but I shuffle my cards and then I lay them down and I twist them. And that's how I pick out. And then
I love it.
I ask for the person's name and for the card for that person. So
I love that.
Oh, wow, Marie. Wow. Ace of Air. Isn't that gorgeous? The colors remind me of Northern Lights. Pretty. Ace of Air. Ace of Air. Destiny and fate. The law of karma. Powerful forces of transformation are at work. Synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences and forces beyond my human control are opening in my life now for the highest good. Things are happening with great velocity. I can expect quick results that will lead me forward with excellent information.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
It
And what do you get from the card when you look at the card, Robin?
Well, what I get from that card is put those wings on, girlfriend. You can fly.
This is great advice for her.
An ace, we know what ace means. Number one, the holy one, the righteous one, the best one.
I love it. Thank you so much for expanding on that, Robin. I appreciate your patience with me.
My pleasure. Thank you.
The card that I pulled for you, Maria, is animal. And I love that both of us are getting animal cards for you. It's so powerful. Like the instinct
Beautiful.
is what's coming up on this card. So just really, truly stepping into trusting your instinct, trusting your intuition. Allow yourself to oversee. That's what I'm getting when that cougar's up on that cliff there. Is overseeing. But you notice too that the cougar is actually looking backwards as well. So there's awareness of where you've been and how far you've come. It's not about looking at the past and using it to hold yourself back, but look at how far you've come. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful card for you there, Maria.
Can I add to that a little bit? I really feel like there is something that she's actually overseeing right this minute. Or within the past few days or whatever, she's literally being the overseer of some big situation.
I love it. Thank you. I know Maria could probably relate to that. Right on. Well, let's pull a card for the group. She says, "Thank you so much, my friends." You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So one for the group. Ooh, this one was
wow. This one I got. The sun.
Wow.
What a powerful card. So beautiful. Let's see if there's a number on it. Ooh, it's number 19. Beautiful.
I just want to say something about while you're looking for in the book there. The sunflowers mean a lot to me, and having the two sunflowers and the sun, it's like having three orbs, past, present, and future. And the sunflower also has seeds in it, so there's all kinds of ideas that we can plant and have come to fruition as well. That's what I'm getting from that card too.
Yes, I love that too. Sun, number 19, abundance. At this time, everything is possible, and everything I need to know is illuminated. Projects come to fruition. Relationships flourish, and my growth is assured. This is a time of plenty. It is important that I share the abundance with others. I am deeply grateful.
That's so beautiful.
And we are sun. The Leo is the sun. That's our planet. So. But yeah, look at how it's all on. Yeah, how it's all in her like a giant halo. That means her crown is severely activated right now. That's what it feels like to me. She's got some serious crown activation going on.
I love that because this is for the group. So the card which goes in alignment with that and with the card that some of these other people have is the Holy One, inspiration. Like, look at the energy of the sun at the top there, and then the Holy One, really recognizing your power in this moment, each and every one of you. Is really kind of step into the energy of that you can walk on those clouds, that you can fly in the sky, that you can reach for all that you want to have. It's such a beautiful, powerful place to be when you start to recognize your power and your energy. It's just like Robin was saying about that further teachings, etc.
Here comes the sun.
Here comes the sun.
One of my favorite songs.
It's all right. And Sue, you're absolutely right. Time for me to teach that shadow song class again. Yeah. Interesting what's coming up in these cards. And you can see that it doesn't matter if a card was pulled for one person or another person. If something in that card resonates for you specifically, then you go ahead and you grab that energy of that card as well. Not grab the energy of the card, but float on that wave. Go with that card as well. Yes, very powerful. Right on. Is there anything else you want to share before we wind up, Robin?
Just that coming from your heart space is one of the best places to come from, going forward with everything. I actually didn't know that I was supposed to be loving myself either. That was something I learned from you and a few other wonderful mentors I have. And now that I am loving myself and stepping more into my power, everything's gotten better for me. Yeah. I'm really owning it now instead of just thinking, well, maybe I might. No, this is you. You got this. Go for it.
Thank you for that beautiful confirmation. Yeah. I know how much it changed my life when I started to love myself. Yeah, so accurate. I appreciate that. Okay, you guys, you know where to find Robin. I'm just going to throw her banner back up here. She's the part of the Alaska Light Brigade. She started that group and runs it with her beautiful daughters, and probably her granddaughter in the future as well will be in there. And yeah, you know, this is what this is all about. It's really kind of empowering, sharing space, living from a heart space, and this beautiful give and take. You know, we just being open to receiving, and then allowing the wisdom to come through in a very powerful way. Anything else you want to add to that?
Yes, actually, I think I have us down for my group next Wednesday, the 30th.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And if you're unfamiliar with how StreamYard works, I'll walk you through that.
Thank you, because I'm not.
Okay, because it's probably one of the easier things to do, or Zoom. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay. But you and I will do that. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for having me, Sandra.
My pleasure.
Take care.